SENICA was established in 2004, and it was established based on a strong need for a much more professional and valid approach towards behavioral rehabilitation. We help people with substance abuse and dependence issues, anger management problems, domestic violence problems, driving behaviors that cause problems on the road. Our programs really are representations of all of the research that's out there that's been accumulated by psychologists and psychiatrists in the field in the last 50 years. We don't just treat or educate individuals from a superficial standpoint. Rather, we would look and see the underlying roots of their behavior. Our classes are relatively pretty small. They range anywhere from 5 people in a class, and they would never go any more than 25 people in a class, never. And in addition to that, all of our instructors are master level, and they usually have a great deal of therapeutic experiences.
When I was a little bit younger, not too long ago, I used to hang out with my friends, and we would go bowling, and of course with bowling comes with alcohol. It's after we drink a little bit, we'd bowl, and it'd be time to go home, and you know, you don't think about later on down the night, rest of the night, when you make a decision, and I decided to try to drive home. I was still in the denial stages or whatnot, and it was like, no, this is really not me, this really is not happening, but all the case may be, I really was there. This was really happening, so. I thought about my family at home who expected me to come home, my daughter who expected to see me every single day. I gotta either do something, change something, or something tragic is gonna happen. The SENICA program I took was an alcohol assessment program. And what it did is it gave you awareness about alcohol, let you know the do's and don'ts, and the actual long-term effect of what alcohol can actually do to you. When I first went into the class, I was kind of skeptical because I had been into classes similar to this, and it was kind of like they kind of give you the same old script. It's almost like they read it right out of the book. But we had a great counselor who happened to be a recovered alcoholic, and he gave us a lot of information. He could relate to a lot of the stories and issues and pressures that we all dealt with at that time. We had an open forum, so there was like 8 or 10 of us in the room, and it was open discussion, so we kind of went around the room. And we all had different opinions on how different things transpired. And he kind of let us deal with it ourselves and kind of gave his clinical point on the do's and don'ts, or what actually does work or what doesn't work. It was pretty much a comfort environment, you know what I'm saying? You can come in there and say whatever you had to say, get whatever's off your chest. If you had some questions, you could ask questions. I think SENICA is great because they have people that have been in your shoes before, and it's a lot easier to communicate with someone that's been there before versus these other people that sometimes you just can't relate to them, but they just have a way of relating it to you and making you feel comfortable, and that's the reason I would recommend it to you. Now that I don't spend as much time away from home, at the bar or at the bowling alley or whatnot, and I have the time and freedom to be able to spend the time that I'm able to spend with my family, I really don't know how to really explain that. That's like, I guess I get more out of it because I get to see their faces light up when they see me coming in the door.
I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and I was taking them to a private Christian school about an hour and 10 minutes away from here. And there was just so many things that would get in the way of us getting there on time, and they would get detention if they didn't get there on time. And that wasn't acceptable to me because they were good students, so I wanted to get them there on time. And so I would find different ways of, you know, getting around cars and going faster and faster and taking shortcuts if I could. Sometimes my children were a little bit scared or worried because I was speeding and going around cars and sometimes, you know, going across the intersection when it was turning yellow. I felt that it was more important to get them there on time than it was to obey the law. So I took a driver rehabilitation course through SENICA, and I didn't know what to expect when I got there, but it was very friendly. We sat in a circle, and we actually got to hear everybody's story of exactly how they got to that point. It became a serious thing for me, and so that's why it really helped me to see that you have a problem and you have to change it because lives are in danger here. The program made me want to change. And that's a big thing because you can know what's wrong and not want to change. And that was the aha moment for me. I saw myself speeding and I said, oh my goodness, I need to slow down. And it's more important for me to get there safely and more important that I don't put anyone else in jeopardy than to get there on time. I started putting that first after the class. I would recommend the SENICA program to others who have trouble speeding and driving recklessly because it's very good and therapeutic to be in a group of people who are all talking about the same problems. You can get a new way of looking at things, and you can live a better life, not putting yourself in the position of maybe causing accidents and putting your own children and others at risk.
Everybody has the capacity to change, absolutely. Whether that will occur tomorrow or whether that will occur in a year from now, what's important is that journey gets started. The greatest gift is when you can provide help and when you can help others. And when you help others, you leave the world a better